I did not. I did not promise that I would catch you. I would never make that promise.
Kind of the whole point of learning how to walk.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Is to not fall down. Sorry. Okay, but so I am crossing the bridge from the side to the no big deal side. A little shimmy. Can you? Do you even know how to shimmy? Nice.
Is that a shimmy?
Just a little pre-recording primping.
Thank you.
So today the topics are, let's see, we're doing it, did you just fart?
No, that was my phone buzzing.
Okay, maybe put it on Do Not Disturb.
Okay. I don't even know how.
What do you mean you don't know how? Here, I'll do it.
No, I'll do it. I'll just leave it down there. All right, also, I noticed you didn't do like an intro. You just kind of went, here are the topics of our show today. You didn't do like oh, welcome to the Skatewives podcast. I'm Emily. This is Rye. You know, get your voice on. Here, you try it.
No, I think that was perfect.
You try it. No, because I said I was Emily. I'm not. You do it. You do it. Try it. Ready? I'll smile.
I wish you would stop. All right, welcome back. Today we've got a couple topics. Right, Rye?
Right.
What?
I know, you're right. I just don't remember what they are.
We're doing an update on me learning to skate and how I've been falling.
Okay. Oh, yeah, specifically the falling, because we don't need to give an update every other week on you learning to skate. I guess.
Okay, speak for yourself. It's kind of.
Okay, fine.
It's kind of a big thing that's going on right now. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the. We went and watched a game of skate.
Yes, we did.
You also mentioned that more skaters are being dropped by brands.
From sponsors,
From
yeah.
sponsors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And there was a third thing on there.
No, that was the third. The three were the game of skate, Emily falling, and sponsors dropping skaters.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
where do you want to start?
We should start with Emily learns to skate.
We absolutely can.
Okay, well, next week on Monday, the 10th, next Monday, we will be dropping the video that summarizes my second month of learning to skate.
Oh, you were talking about the date. Yes, Monday is the 10th.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were trying to say. Sorry.
We should work on cat and gar thing, but that's for another time. So, it's an SNL bit.
Got it, okay.
If you know, you know.
Oh, where I finish your sentences?
No, it's the one Kristen Wiig does with, I forget his name, and one of them is talking and the other one is trying to say what they're saying at the exact same time. Exactly.
Yeah, see, I already got it down.
Don't do it
Don't do it during the podcast.
Okay, so here was the biggest devastation about falling.
Man, I'm glad I don't edit these anymore. All right.
Ryan promised that he would catch me.
I did not. I did not promise that I would catch you. I would never make that promise.
No, okay, what you did
I promise I'd try.
What you did promise is that nobody falls forward.
What I said was, nobody falls forward when they're learning to drop in. Everybody, if they're gonna fall dropping in, slips out backwards because they don't lean forward enough. And I said, I would be very impressed if you found a way to fall forward because I have never seen that, and you just land it. Like if you lean too far forward, you land it.
So color you impressed?
No. So what happened was, day one, I was helping you drop in. You did only assisted ones. Yeah. Well, not only, you would have landed them had I not been there, but I was there for all of them. Then the next day you tried dropping in. You did it totally fine on a bigger quarter pipe and did like 7 or 8 on your own. Great. Super clean.
Oh, yeah, I remember. That was at North Laurel.
Correct. Then the third time we went for you to drop in, we went back to the very first place that you originally had tried where I was assisting you.
Arlington Skate Park.
Which was much smaller of a quarter pipe.
Little guy.
And so what happened is you went to drop in and you did the same thing you'd been doing on the big quarter pipe, but the quarter pipe ended way earlier. So you were still leaning super far forward and you fell forward, which I wasn't expecting because, again, you're new to dropping in and usually people fall backwards. But also, like, when you fell on this one, I was right there, and the video, it looks a little pathetic on my part because I kind of like, you know, in the scene in The Office when Michael falls into the koi pond and Jim is kind of like, I kind of did that because I was expecting you to fall backward, and that's what I was looking for, and that didn't happen. And by the time I registered that you were falling,
let me fall. You let me fall.
By the time I registered you were falling forward, I was like this. I don't know what to do. But anyway, you got back up. You did it next try, and you can drop in now.
Maybe, I don't know. I do. That's one of those ones that I need to do, you know, a number of more times.
You should do like 5 every time you go to the park or whatever.
I haven't been to the park in a few days.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be miraculously way better.
It's possible.
Yeah. Sometimes resting is helpful. But so I fell on that, and then I fell a couple of times just pushing around, and then I fell.
You fell trying to ollie up the curb. Couple surprise guys where it worked and you landed back on it, but I didn't expect to land back on it, and I was like a little leaning far back, and so I've been falling, and I have mixed feelings about the falling because I think like most average adults are afraid of falling. You think you're most average adults?
In some senses of the phrase, yeah.
Okay.
No,
With respect to falls.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
I think most adults have developed a fear of falling.
That's fair.
Right?
And I think most adults don't know how to fall.
Right, because
which exacerbates
kind
the
of
fear.
yeah, but like kind of the whole point of learning how to walk
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
is to not fall down.
Yeah, good point. Never thought about it that way, but you're right. That is why we learned. Well, also to get around, but
Right, but
it
like
would be really inconvenient if we learned how to get around but didn't learn how to not fall.
like okay, let's get it together, man.
But like, no, imagine if humans just like you fart 14 times a day, they say.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, the average human. I think it's like 14. But what if the average human fell 14 times a day and you just didn't know when you're going to see it, and you're going out into the world and people are randomly just taking spills.
Oh my gosh, crosswalks.
But it was like a regular thing that
so
we all just had to deal with.
So it's not a big deal.
That would be
We're
funny.
all like walking like the, you know what I'm saying, like these guys. Whoa, you know?
That would be comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we don't
back
do that
to
because
reality.
we learned.
Back to reality. My gosh, you had a little extra coffee this morning or something. Yeah, most adults don't fall. And so I think you develop a fear of falling.
Okay.
Because, and not to get really scary, but when you think about falling, like as an adult, you start to think about the worst case scenario. Like, rolling your ankle is not the worst case scenario. I broke my leg, I hit my head, I broke my arm, like a fall, you know? And if you're watching this...
Sorry, those are the worst case scenario?
Those are worser.
Okay, got it.
More worse.
Okay.
Worse.
Sure.
Not worst. Worse.
Okay.
Because worser is not a word.
Okay.
Anyway. But so I think like most adults, when they think about falling now, they hear about falling and people getting injured. And even if you don't break something, you get a really bad bruise or you're sore, right? Because you don't fall a lot. And I would estimate that the average adult maybe takes a tumble once a year, once every 2 years. You like misjudge a step and don't catch yourself.
Yeah, in regular life.
In regular life. Yeah. Like I'm saying, excluding all of the situations where you might be like, you know.
Skiing.
Yeah, I was gonna pick a more like activity of the people, but skiing counts.
Soccer.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was thinking about this because like I was afraid to fall, and like the fear is pretty monumental and it's really good at stopping you from doing things. And then I fell, and it was bad. Don't get me wrong, but it like wasn't that bad.
Which fall was this where you had this?
It was that day where I fell like 5 times, and then I was like, I need to leave. I've fallen more today than I have in my entire 2 months of learning how to skate.
Trying to ollie up the curb.
No, I'm thinking of the day I fell.
Trying the rock to fake.
Yeah, because I fell like really randomly, like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, and seriously, I haven't really fallen otherwise in my first 2 months of skating.
Yeah, your first month and a half, you fell once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was getting more and more nervous for the big fall, I would say. And then I fell, and it's just like you fall and you're just like, ow. Like I feel like I can, like you just feel this like, it hurts.
Yeah.
But then you're kind of like, it goes away. And if you can stand up and kind of move your body around, you're like, okay. So it's bad because it hurts and I've got a bunch of new bruises, but it's not that bad because you can just get back up. The problem is if you fall again, for me, I've just been hitting the exact same spots on my body. So that's not fun.
You're doing the same fall over and over.
Yeah, but I'm here to say, falling, it's bad, but it's not as bad as we all seem to think it is.
What do you think about the social aspect of falling? I guess you've only fallen at skate parks and they've been pretty uncrowded, but in terms of the experience of falling in front of other people and having them see that, do you have thoughts on that yet?
Okay, so one time in middle school track, we were doing like, it was practice, but it was like, I think it was track, and it was multi-grades, and we were doing these sprints across the field. It was grass field. Everyone's in heats, so it's like, 100+ kids. And as I was sprinting in my heat, the grass was kind of damp and I slipped and fell. Mortifying. Mortifying. Like I remember being face down in the dirt thinking, oh my gosh, I have to get up. This is so embarrassing. So that paired with also, I happened to mention to some regular people peers that I know, that like, oh, I took a little tumble while learning to skateboard, and everyone's like, so like, it's embarrassing, and everyone like is worried, and I don't like when people are concerned about me about something that like really isn't concerning. Like I'm fine, I just got a new bruise. So it's embarrassing. So if I were to imagine taking a tumble at a skate park in front of everyone, I would be mortified.
What about at a street spot?
Mortified. And what's worse is that like some people know who I am. So like if you like are like, oh, it's Skatewives and she just absolutely ate it, and I'm being there like, it's mortifying. So embarrassing.
Even in an environment and around a bunch of other people that understand falling and participate in the falling themselves, it would still be mortifying?
Yeah, for me.
Interesting. See, I'm thinking about my own falling.
Yeah.
And I have, for whatever reason, gotten to a point where I do not care if I fall in front of a bunch of people.
I know.
And
it's obvious.
Well, but what's wild about that is like, I get a lot of social anxiety. Like we do this thing when we go into like a restaurant or a bar that
I hate when you do this.
If you can't see in, you open the door and you don't really know what you're getting. And so what we do is I will very nicely open the door and hold it open for my wife so that she has to walk in first and face who knows what, a crowded
the unknown of a restaurant.
Yeah, an overzealous host, a crowded restaurant, a scary dive bar, like I don't know. But and then if there's a lobby and it's double doors, then she can run it right back to me, and
that's best case scenario.
It's a good little shtick. But my point is, like I've got social anxiety, but for whatever reason, when I'm out skate, it's like this invincibility shield of just me not caring.
I'm so glad.
I don't know what that's about, because that's not normal, nor me.
Yeah, okay, so like if you were hanging out with non-skate friends and you tripped and fell.
Yeah.
Sorry, that would be so funny.
Well, no, okay, so that in a way happened a couple, like a month ago.
Was I there?
When I fell down that ladder on the beach.
That was so embarrassing.
See, I wasn't that embarrassed by it.
Okay, but that's actually a really good example. Okay, so we're like at this beach and we're going down wooden steps.
It was just my friends that saw. If other people had seen, I would have been embarrassed for sure.
Interesting. If I were you, I would, whatever. But here's what I think is like the second layer of difference with skaters and non-skaters is, so like there was wooden steps, they were wet, And so, you know, it's the beach.
And they were tiny.
And
like,
they were
you couldn't
tiny.
fit your foot on it.
And Ryan's like walking down and his foot like slips out. And so he just kind of like slides all the way down.
It was more of a ladder than stairs. Like it was a stair ladder, but
okay.
I'm talking about this. I'm describing the steepness.
Yeah, I don't think that matters for the story. But so you fall, you're like, and you hit the person in front of you who had just like finished getting off these steps. And so there was some shrieking.
Sorry, Rachel.
Some shrieking. And like you're like, yeah, that was crazy. And everyone else is like, are you okay? Oh my gosh, you're cut. Look at that. Oh, is it bleeding? And you're like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. And like that is the difference, is like you were all scraped up.
I got pretty shredded.
Yeah, and like, but like you weren't gushing blood. It was all surface level, cosmetic, superficial scrapes, right? But everyone who's not a skater is like, oh my gosh, you must be hurt. Like you might have tweaked your shoulder. Like, is your back okay? And you're just like, ah. You know, so that's part of it, is I come from the side of the world where it's like,
Nice mom gasp.
Thank you,
there.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, but so I am crossing the bridge from the side to the no big deal side.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say it sucks, falling sucks, and it does hurt, but not as badly as I've been afraid it would hurt.
Good.
I don't want to fall, and I aspire to not fall as much. We'll see how that goes.
I think that wraps this topic up nicely with a bow. Falling sucks, but not as bad as Emily thought. All right, what else is on the list?
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk about falling. Should we talk about this game of skate we went to?
Sure.
It was epic. All right. Why don't you lead into this one, since I led the last topic?
Okay, so we went, let's see, it was over a week ago at this point, we went to a game of skate tournament at a brewery in Baltimore, put on by View Skate Shop, which is, I mean, if you're from the DC or Baltimore area,
Then you know.
You would probably know View. They've got 2 locations.
I didn't know.
Well, you're new to the skate world, so.
And the DC area.
Right. Anyway, we went to this game of skate, which was being played at this brewery, and it was like I don't know if it was bracket style. It was tournament style. There was a $500 cash prize, and they had set it up, like the brewery is a big warehouse, and they had set up the game in the center and put tables kind of all around it. So it was almost like a ring you would see at I don't know. Or anytime you've seen a game of skate, you'll, especially like the Battle at the Barracks, there'll be like the barriers making a big area in the middle. But imagine they were all bar tables instead. So like everybody's sitting around drinking at a table and watching games of skate, it was a really cool energy in there.
It was fun because it was fun for me. Mm-hmm. Actually, I had a fantastic time.
Talk about it.
Well, it's fun because whenever you show me skateboarding, I'm just like, skateboarding. But in a game of skate, it's like, okay, this person did this trick. Can this person do it? So it's like I have a better understanding of what's going on.
It's not just a random onslaught of tricks that you don't get.
Right. Yeah. And to be clear, I can't really differentiate the skate tricks anyways.
But you know whether somebody lands it or not.
Yeah. And I can be like, oh, that did not look as good. So it was great because, like, really good entertainment to watch. Like, you can just, like, if you don't want to talk to the people you're with, you can totally pay attention to what's in front of you. And it's like head to head. It's like a physical competition, but not like more like a rap battle, you know?
Well, what the difference is it's a head-to-head competition where you're also competing against yourself in a way. In that, like, I would imagine similar to a rap battle, work with me here.
Yeah.
If you and the other guy are going back and forth, trading like really good blows, you both are kind of fired up that the other person is returning what you're sending over there just as well. Yeah. And it probably makes yours a little bit better. And so similarly for a game of skate, like yeah, you're competing against the other person, but it's a better game and it's more fun for you if the other person is also landing it. And it's like,
Yeah.
you can do a trick and that other person, you have no bearing on whether they will do it or not, you know? And so there's almost an aspect of like, you can kind of cheer for your opponent. It's like, I want my opponent to do what I still want to win.
Yeah.
But I want my opponent to do well because I want this to be a challenging or competitive game.
Yeah.
Whereas like I can see, you know, a baseball, basketball, football game, like a blowout is awesome because I don't really need to worry and I just crush this guy.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I mean, some skate competitions perhaps are like that, but this one was very
competitive.
But encouragingly competitive.
Yeah.
Like everybody involved wanted it to be competitive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I conflated general games of skate with this specific one, but yeah, I thought it was good.
It was good. It was exciting. People were invested. There was an 11-year-old kid who like really held his own.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yep.
He was just like whipping out these flippy tricks.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. There were a lot of redos.
Really questionable refereeing at times.
I don't...
To the point where if I were one or two guys, I would be a little upset because I do think the questionable refereeing on redos specifically kind of changed the game.
As an audience member, I thought the redos were pathetic. What?
Yeah,
Because it wasn't even the ref calling the redo sometimes. Sometimes it was like someone else being like, oh, I'm just going to do it. And it's like, well, that's not how the game works. You either do it first try or you don't get it.
Well, it depends how you establish the rules. But that is the problem because redo rules are super ambiguous. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And so...
So I thought the redos were a little sus, and some people won't name names because I don't know the names, but some people were really relying on those redos.
Yeah.
Then, what I also thought was interesting was everyone's style was like a little different. But it was interesting because some people had a really deep bag of tricks, but they looked like total ass. I was going to say garbage, and then I wanted to say ass, but then I was like, I'm swearing, and it looked bad.
Okay.
But they're still landing all of these tricks, so, like, they're in it.
Yeah.
To, like, the semifinals. Mm-hmm. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. That's an example of how hard it is to make it in skateboarding. Not only do you have to do all the tricks,
you have to look good.
You also have to look good doing them if you're going to, like, really make it in skate.
Yeah, that's funny. I love that, like, there's this just, like... unspoken, undefinable, like, you can only be a pro skater if you're also cool.
I mean...
That cracks me up.
That's the job. The job is to be cool so that you can be an effective marketing asset for a brand to sell things to predominantly kids or teenagers.
Would people agree with you about that?
I think people would be turned off by the bluntness of putting it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there's like that's reality.
Yeah.
As a pro, and we're kind of transitioning topics a little bit here, but
yeah.
Like as a pro skater, your job
is to be cool.
Is, well, think about like why would a brand give you free product, right?
I know.
And then why would a brand pay you to rep their brand? The only incentive for them to do that is if they get something out of it. And ideally what they get out of it is marketing and sales.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, why, like, there's no incentive, there's no reason to give away free stuff.
Yeah, no, I know.
And so your job as a pro skater kind of becomes being a marketing asset. That is, you know, that's why LeBron James is sponsored by Nike.
Because he's cool.
Because he's a marketing asset.
I know. I'm trying to delineate when it's being cool versus when it's being relatable or having a value add or something else.
Well, that's where I think with pro skating, there's inherently a layer of cool and mystique, I think, to it a little bit of like, who are these guys that are so good at skating? Like, there's a mysterious element to it. Because there's a brand of pro skater that's like I post on Instagram 3 times a year. You don't know anything about me. I come out with a part every 2 or 3 years, and I'm inherently cool because I ride for these cool brands, and when I do come out with footage, it looks good, but like the rest of the time, nobody knows anything about me. Like, that is a version of pro skater.
Okay.
And then there's also versions of pro skaters that are more like, you know, maybe they're not the coolest, but they're the best.
Okay.
Which makes them a little bit more cool.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there's just different brands to it, different flavors.
So what we're saying is it's hard to define cool, but we know that skateboarding is cool.
And that's what they're trying to sell, at least. Cool or fun.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would they be like?
No,
what
I know.
What is anyone selling?
No, I know. But like, I think we've lost the point a little bit here because I'm specifically talking about how skateboarders cannot make it unless they have the cool factor. And there are a few exceptions to that rule. And I don't want to like say them by accidentally calling people not cool.
Well, what do you got? You're editing this.
I know, I'm scared.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, like Skate IQ.
Okay.
Less cool, but very helpful. Very important, high value add. And I don't know his pro skill level.
No, and I would say you nailed it. Like, I don't think, I don't think he's trying to be cool.
My point, though, is for basketball players, NFL players, surfers. Surfing is inherently cool, but no pro surfer also needs to be cool to be a pro surfer.
I don't know enough about.
I don't either. So fine, I'll do a different one. An NBA player does not need to be cool to get huge deals.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying is it's funny that for skateboarding to be professional, you have to check the I am cool box.
I would actually, I think I agreed with you too quickly on the NBA thing. For an NBA player to get an NBA contract, you need to be good at basketball.
Right.
For an NBA player to get an endorsement deal, you need to have some sort of favorable quality, of which cool is like certainly an element.
Okay, we might have to cut this whole section because I don't think anyone will be interested in listening to us debate this, but
Okay.
Is there a difference between being cool and charisma?
There's a difference, but they're very, very related. If you have charisma, you're much more likely to be cool.
Yeah. Right, but like, but that's actually, skaters don't actually
Skaters do not have a lot of charisma.
That's what I was gonna say, is it's not that they themselves have to be cool, it's that their skating has to look cool.
Yes. The skating has to speak
So
for them.
actually, let's take this all back. Skaters, not cool. It's just what and how they do that has to be cool.
Yeah, I mean, to say skaters not cool.
No,
like,
I know. That's just a knife for no reason.
Yeah, they're I think I'd put it this way. There are skaters where their skating is what represents close to 100% of their personality.
Right.
They don't put anything else out there other than their skating.
Yeah.
And then there are other skaters who mix in
Personality.
more personality, and that can change, that can build up what their skating is doing.
Yeah.
Or that could tear down what their skating is doing in the case of some people that people don't like.
Yeah.
Because there are skaters out there who have been, like, some of the best skaters ever never really made it as skate careers because people don't like them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, my only point was that to be pro, your skating has to look cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the pro skaters who are getting dropped. Now that we've beat the topic of being cool to death.
I would still say we don't know what's cool based on that conversation.
I would say you don't know what's cool.
Oh.
Oh, boom roasted.
I mean, I don't. I've never been cool.
I've never been cool either. I just like to think I'm cooler than you.
I'm probably.
No doubt.
I mean, yeah. Maybe that's a layup.
Slam dunk, baby. All right, tell me who got dropped.
So I mean, it's just been, I feel like every 2 weeks of this year so far, there's been a new wave of people getting dropped by sponsors.
Okay.
Whether that was people under the Soul Tech brands, S.K.A.T.E America, whether that's a couple people on, well, Volcom was more of the snow team that we talked about. There's just been all kinds of people losing jobs. The most recent one, there's an Instagram post by Caleb McNeely that went up.
Who's that?
He's a skater for a brand called Crooked. I think
you've gotten one of their boards before.
Yep. I think he rode for Huff, maybe Cons. He was kind of. I have no idea like how much money he could have been making in skateboarding. He's kind of he's a cool guy. He is like one of the mysterious.
Now he's one of those cool guys.
Yeah, I mean he's a mysterious. You don't know a lot about him. I don't know if I've seen an interview of him. He pops up with a part every other year, it seems. I really like his skating. I really like the spot selection and the trick selection, that's my favorite brand of skate. Like,
yeah, I know you get tickled when it's a good spot selection with an even better trick choice.
Yeah, like I think that is my favorite thing to watch. And I think he's really, really good at that. I really, really like his skating. But he made this Instagram post of basically being like, I got cut by my sponsors and now he's sponsorless. So I would wonder if he just kind of said, all right, I'm not doing the skating. Like, I think what happened, reading between the lines, I think the sponsor that was paying him the most dropped him, which because he references like that it's not the skate people making these decisions, it's executives who are at the beck and call of investors who have to make these decisions. And if you look at the companies who likely paid him the most, it was probably Huff that dropped him. Because I don't think he would be making a ton from Crooked, and I think he's like Flow for Cons, so I would doubt he was getting paid by them.
Who's Cons?
Converse.
I was wondering.
Cons is Converse's skate line.
Got it.
And Converse is a Nike company.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that.
So I don't know. It's an interesting post. It's like a bummer that he doesn't get paid for skating, and that stinks. There are elements of his posts where he's talking about how like people don't value a video part and they just value a 15-second clip on Instagram now, and that's what's worthwhile and whatnot. And on one hand, it's a bummer that people don't value video parts anymore or see them as much. On the other hand, the post, and again, like I don't mean to use him specifically as the poster child of this because I've seen this sentiment from a lot of other pros lately, but it doesn't seem like pro skaters have a good grasp of what their job is. Because 20 years ago, or 15 years ago, the model that I grew up watching of pro skater is you get sponsored by the big brands. Maybe you film a video, you spend 3 years filming a video part.
Yep.
You're responsible for shooting 2-3 ads a year. And other than that, you're just paid to exist and skate. And the game has totally changed.
Yeah.
And there's an echelon of pro skaters that continue to play this like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be out skating a little bit, and if I get an ad, I get an ad. But like, there's a whole crop of other people out there that are super hungry for those opportunities, and like, they're gonna post on Instagram weekly.
They're gonna tag brands.
They're gonna film a video part and be able to shoot interview photos if they need to, and then film another video part. And you have some pro skaters that like have the resources of the industry and their sponsors at their beck and call, who just, like, if your job is to skate, I don't know, go out and try a trick at least 2 or 3 times a week if you're not hurt. Like, it doesn't seem that hard. I don't know. Maybe there's a way more to it that I don't understand.
I think you're not wrong, and it's like, I think you can draw parallels to a lot of industries and professions that have been disrupted by social media,
Yeah.
right? Like think about Hollywood. You have a bunch of TikTok stars who flooded the scene who started getting a bunch of ad dollars. And
Yeah,
what that
you're right.
did is that made a bunch of like traditional Hollywood stars say, maybe I should be doing this Uber Eats deal.
Well, and what it also did is it created a backdoor into Hollywood.
Yes.
Where you don't need to rise the ranks of traditional Hollywood. You can get big elsewhere and then move in, which is also happening in skating.
Yeah, and like of course it's not a smooth transition, but like for comedians.
No, yeah.
Right, and like I've heard many stories about like comedian online people who just totally bomb at a live show. But there are comedians who make it and are obscenely successful, and you have the old guard of comedians not giving them the time of day because they're like, well, you didn't work 17 jobs while spending every single night at the Comedy Cellar or whatever. And it's like, right, they instead got roasted online by millions of people before getting paid anything.
Yeah.
And so I think what you're calling out is like, that is hitting skateboarding, or it has been hitting skateboarding, and you have a bunch of skaters who aren't waking up and smelling the coffee, or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a good comparison. It's
Thank you.
and again, I really feel badly using Caleb as an example for all this because again, like I really enjoy his skating, but yeah, I mean, I think like if you don't realize that a 15-second Instagram clip and a full video part are of similar value to a brand, whether that's right or wrong, and obviously there's a different level of effort that goes into each of those things, but whether that's right or wrong, the reality is that they're worth kind of the same thing. And if you want to be a part, if you want that to be your career, you need to
Play the game a little.
You need to play the game a little bit.
I understand, like, it's got to be really hard to be like, no, this is so much better, I put in so much more time, but like, how much something matters to you is not the same amount of weight it holds for the people receiving it.
Well, it's just like musicians where you have, traditionally a musician needed to make an album.
Yeah.
That's what it was, make an album. And that's the skateboarding version of a video part.
Yeah.
Film a part. And now then it transitioned to, you just need a single. You need a hot single. You don't need a full video part. And that was, get a really, really sick clip, probably on a famous spot.
Yeah.
And then music has now turned into, you don't even need a single. You just need a viral 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That goes around on TikTok. And skating now, you don't, like look at the really hilariously bad kickflip trend. There's a trend on Instagram right now, or recently, where like, do the worst looking, most rocketed vertical kickflip, like do a terrible kickflip. And that is a trend on Instagram, and you can rack up hundreds of thousands of views for doing an objectively terrible kickflip because that's the trend. And so like as a pro skater, that is miserable. To go from filming these albums to doing viral trends because that's what the kids want.
Know.
Like that stinks.
Well, and like to the musician point, like having everyone build music to be viral, like it ruins it.
Yeah.
And so I don't think either of us are promoting that this is the right avenue, but you can't fully shut out the way things are going because you will be dropped and left behind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this year shakes out. It's feels like it's been a bloodbath in the skate world so far.
Good thing we're spending all of our time trying to exist in the skate world.
Yeah, we know how to pick them.
We love winners. All right, that was it.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Should we see if it's raining so we can go skate?
Yeah.
Or not go skate?
Yeah, you want to say a quick prayer to the skate gods?
No, I'm not really into that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. How about the rain gods?
No. Do you want to do a rain dance for us?
No.
Come on, a little shimmy.
I'll do it off camera.
Do a little shimmy.
I'll do it off
Do a
camera.
little shimmy. Can you? Do you even know how to shimmy? Nice.
Is that a shimmy?
Yeah, got it.
Wow, that was a way better reaction from you than I was expecting. I thought you were gonna be like, ha ha ha, you're so stupid, you don't even know what a shimmy is. That was your shimmy? That's what I was expecting from you.
No, but you do a fantastic job of making yourself seem so stupid.
All right, let's go. Good podcast.
Wow, you really kind of punched me there.
Yeah.